Hello and welcome to the channel. In tonight's video, I'm going to be potting up some seeds I've had soaking in the kitchen for 24 hours. And if you'd like to see what I'm putting in the outdoor greenhouse grow space, stay tuned. I am doing my best to fill up the outdoor greenhouse grow space and try different methods of getting baby plants growing and out in the spring garden. I've tried growing directly from seed. I like growing directly from seed, but not everything likes to be sown directly. So today I'm in the garage once more, and I am going to be sowing some seeds I've had soaking in the house for 24 hours. So let's get started. I'm going to be sowing herbs today. I have herbs and I have flowers. Not everything's going to be sown today. I am going to be taking some of my seeds outdoors, but the vast majority of them will be sown in this greenhouse in the garage. Now, I used to have this in the house when I lived in North Texas. I came down to South Texas and I decided that my grow house space would no longer be inside, but in the garage. So I moved everything outside. And so every fall and winter, I start growing things in this greenhouse to get them out in the garden at different times of the year. So everything I'm putting in the greenhouse now is for spring. So this is a little cup that I got from the store. Sometimes I get these when I've picked up something in the grocery store that consists of little bitty dishes like this. Sometimes when I go to a restaurant, they serve you little things like this that have like salt, margarita, lime, and stuff in it. You get little dishes like this. You can find them almost anywhere. I generally recycle them, and so I recycle this, and this is rosemary. I've had these seeds soaking in this little container overnight. I do that to see whether or not my seeds are viable. Now, from the looks of it, some of these seeds are floating on the top of the water. So I'm holding out hope that they'll germinate, but I'm not quite certain. I would germinate these on paper towel like I have been doing for many of my other seeds, but in all honesty, we're going to give it a try. So I'm not ditching the paper towel method because I already do have some stuff still inside the house in that plastic bag germinating on the paper towel. So I want to get a few things already out. So this is it. So I'm going to go ahead and sow these directly and see how it works. So let's get this rosemary in the greenhouse. I don't have very many more of these peekaboo cup methods left. All of my cups like this, these light colored white or cream colored cups, I've used up. All I have left are a few of the red cups. I have maybe 3 of the peekaboos left, and then the rest is just either the little red cups or the larger uh, white cups like this one. I have these. So I'll be utilizing what I have. I'm not trying to purchase anything additionally. I'm just going to use what I have available to me, and we're going to go from there. Now, I've already moistened my soil. This is a soil mixture that I made up myself, coconut coir, perlite, and some osmocote. And I think I also put in here a little bit of fertilizer. So that's what's in there. This is nothing more than rosemary seeds. Like I said, many of them are floating. I don't know how viable this is going to be. So I'm just going to pour them on the soil, just trying to spread them out a little bit. They're not really coming out as I thought they would, but that's okay. I'm just going to use what I have to get them out of the little cup and in there like that. Now I have some soil down at my feet. Again, this is coconut coir, perlite, probably a little bit of, I know there's osmocote in here, and I may have some azomite rock dust, maybe some bone meal and blood meal. I can't remember, but I make this up myself. And so I am just going to sprinkle a little soil over the top like that. You don't need a lot. These are not really large seeds, but you do just want to cover them up just a little bit. Now, I'm really weary about using tools to push soil over my seeds because I don't want to pick my seeds up and transfer them out of the soil onto whatever I'm using. So I'm just real careful to kind of just move my soil around like that. And then I take my rainwater, I fill my pump sprayer up with rainwater, and I just give it a little spray. Like I said, this soil is already moist, so I'm just going to spray it down like that. Now I'm also going to take, I have a little, let's see, a little bag over here that has vermiculite in it, and I am going to get a little vermiculite in the cup, put my bag on the floor so I don't spill anything. I'm going to dust this with vermiculite. I've already put the date on the cup. So I'm going to place this inside the greenhouse and move on to the next seed. Same thing with this cup. I already have my moistened soil. If you're going to use a pickable cup, please make sure that the cup you have your soil in has holes in it. You don't want to drown your seedling. Now this one, the water is very, very wet. So I'm going to pour the water out of this cup into something else. And that way I'm not drowning anything. I'll do that once I put my seeds in here. I am sowing seeds for chervil. Chervil is a French parsley, and it looks like all of my seeds have sank to the bottom of the little cup. I don't know if you all can see that. So I am going to just pour them out, including the water, over the soil. And I'm going to take this little tag and just prick them out and into the soil. Hopefully they don't bunch up, but they are wet, and sometimes that's the case. When your seeds are wet, they will bunch. So you gotta kind of try to separate them to the best of your ability. Get them out of your little dish. Now, I'm right-handed, so I do apologize. Y'all probably can't see anything. I'm just trying to scrape them out without harming anything. They've been in this water for 24 hours. I put them in there yesterday. It is late today. It's late in the evening. So they've been soaking in this water half the night and all day. So we're just going to get them in that soil. And there's way too much water in this soil. I can see it starting to pool on top. So I am going to put some soil over the top of these, just a little bit of soil. Those seeds can tolerate it, just like that. I'll get my fork and just lightly move it over the top of those seeds. I won't need to water that because that soil is so wet. It's drenched with water. And then I will put vermiculite over it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this clear cup sit in the water like this just for a few minutes and see if it'll pick up any more water in this top cup. It probably won't because the water in this top cup is very, very moist. I do see a little bit of moisture around the edges, so it is moist. I am going to pour this water out. But first, I need to get another cup ready to go, and then I will pour this water in here into that one. This is a recycled paper cup that was given to me. I received a couple of these from an old colleague. She gave me these little pots as a gift, and I used all but, I want to say, 3 of them. These are the last 3 I have. If you're going to use this kind of pot that they say can break down in your soil, my recommendation is keep it in something that's going to keep it moist. Don't try to water it from the top. Water it from a little basin. That way it's continuously wicking up water, because if this pot gets dry, and it does have the ability to get dry, then your seedlings will die. It serves no purpose if you're not going to keep this moist. And so I'm just going to wet this. The soil is just slightly damp. It's not excessively damp because it's been in the bag. Slightly damp. So I am going to really give it a good soaking, only because this pot is going to wick some moisture away from the soil. In my experience, that is what happens with this particular pot. And I'm going to make sure that there's water in the bottom. There's a hole in the bottom. If you all can see that, there's a hole. I don't want to tip it too much. There's a hole in the bottom, and it's going to wick up the water that has flown through this soil. So the next thing I'm going to put in here is some parsley. I have a little tag. I'm not going to write on the pot because it's going to deteriorate. So I just have some regular old parsley. These are the seeds. Some of them are floating. Some of them are on the bottom of the container. And I'm just going to just swish them around to try to get them towards the end over here. And that way I can pour them out. So I'm just going to do my best to pour and get them out in the water. That's all I'm going to try to do, just like that. Get them all out. There's two hanging on, don't want to come out of here. There we go. All out, just like that. Clean and clear. Nothing on the tag. Oh, I got one on the tag. Remember, you got to pay attention, you guys. Get that off of that tag. Get it in that soil. Off your finger. Sometimes these wet seeds do want to stick, so you got to be careful that you're getting all of your seeds where they need to go. Put my little cup back there in the greenhouse. Grab a little soil from out of the bag. I'm just going to lightly, I'm going to put vermiculite over the top of these seeds. They could take a little bit of soil, but these are some relatively small seeds. So I'm going to put some vermiculite over this. Just like that. That soil is very moist. And I have a lot of water now that has drained inside of here. So I'm going to leave it, and I'm going to watch this pot very closely because I've tried growing in these pots before in the past when I lived in North Texas, and I didn't like the result of it. So I'm going to keep an eye on this very, very closely. So I'm going to put this inside of the greenhouse very close to the front. That way I keep my eye on it right next to my longevity spinach. Just like that. It's inside the greenhouse. Now I have another one, and I'm going to be placing in that one some white sage. I use white sage for mainly for me for smudging inside the house. If you don't know what smudging is, I will put a description in the description box below so that you can see what little bit of information that I'll provide when it comes to smudging. But I highly recommend that you look all of those things up yourself. That way you know all the benefits of everything. That will be the white sage and the smudging. So I am just going to put just a little bit of soil in there like that. I have my soil bag on the ground. I'm not going to fill it up. I try not to fill my cups up because I don't need it to be absolutely full. I just need to have enough soil so that it lasts long enough so that it has enough nutrition and then I can get it out in the garden. I tried to sow my seeds between 6 to 8 weeks before my last frost date, or sometimes a little bit sooner than that, so I can get a nice, luscious, big plant like you would see in the big box store. I want my plants to be nice and big and luscious. That way, when I put them out, there's a less likelihood that I won't get a quick turnaround with the harvest of food. You put it out, if you get it growing and it looks like it's going to start making food, then you get it out in the garden, and the next thing you know, you have food a lot sooner than you would have if you started directly outside from seed, if that makes sense. So I like to get a nice big healthy plant to where when you put it outside, you're not waiting a long time before you actually get it to bloom and begin to make fruit for you. So I am going to put some water in here like I did the other one, because these pots are very dry. They have been sitting in the garage, and I want to make sure that they are going to wick up. This water moistens this soil. I don't want this pot to wick away the moisture and dry my seeds. So on the floor down here, I put some seeds down here on the floor, and I have in this one, this is the broadleaf sage, and there are what seems like more seeds floating than there are resting on. No, I've got one seed floating. That's the broadleaf sage. So I'm going to get the broadleaf sage in this pot closest to you, just like so. Just like that. Now, last year I tried to grow some broadleaf sage, and for some reason, it did not want to germinate for me. So I was concerned about the viability of my seeds. That's one of the reasons why I went ahead and soaked them to see if those seeds were just a non-starter seed. But they all but one sank to the bottom of the cup. And so we're just going to do that. And that's the broadleaf sage. And I'm going to put some perlite on the top of here, just like the other. And I have a couple more to do. I'll take you along with me. I don't think I've shown you all. Let me get a label for this. I don't think I have one. I have one for the white sage, but not the broadleaf sage. So let's make a quick label. And stick it in there just like that. And the reason why I am using my plastic labels is anything else, if I use something cheap, it may deteriorate, and I don't want to do that. And so in this particular pot I have over here, this is what? This is my white sage. So I'm going to pour my whites, and it looks like I've got maybe half of these seeds are floating. So I'm holding out hope that these seeds will actually germinate for me, but I'm not sure how this is going to work out. But I'm holding out hope. I really would love some white sage. So I'm going to cover these up just a tiny bit. They're a little bit smaller than the broadleaf sage, but the packet said to scratch these in order to get them germinating. And they were too tiny to try to scratch, in my opinion. So I went ahead and soaked them for 24 hours because I wanted to make sure that at least if they were soft, maybe they would germinate a lot quicker. We'll see. I'm hoping. I have not had very much success with white sage, but I have my fingers crossed on the white sage. Now I have a little label down here that says white sage, and I'm going to get this in the greenhouse. Let me see if I have any space back here. I'm going to switch that around and see if I can put this right up front. Just like that. All right. So the chervil's been planted. The rosemary's been planted. The broadleaf sage, the white sage, and the parsley has been planted. I have 2 more seeds to plant. Let me go ahead and plant them along with you. If you all are still wanting to see me plant, I'll go ahead and plant them along with you. Let me get them set up and I'll be right back. Okay, so I am using what I have. This is a takeaway dish from a meal that I got from somewhere at some point. I don't remember, but I've had it for a while. These are some pots I bought last year from the Dollar Tree, and of course the soil mix that I make up. Now, the last 2 seeds I'm going to sow with you all, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. If this is long, I do apologize, but I feel like the videos that you all are liking right now are the videos of people sowing seeds, and that's exactly what I'm doing. As you can see, my greenhouse is full of seeds and clippings and root vegetables that I've dug up, and so I am making a go of trying to get more into the garden this spring. I am going to be sowing outside. I don't know if I said it in this video or not, but I do have some seeds that I've soaked last night that need to go outside. But I had to go out today to get some fertilizer that my mom picked up for me, as well as a huge pot to up pot a couple of my plants. And so I didn't get a chance to sow those seeds, but when I do, I'll take you all outside with me. So right now, these are things that are going in the greenhouse. Now, what I also will do is if I have more that I need to sow, which I know I will, and I don't have enough room in this greenhouse because I've actually run out of electrical space. I don't have anywhere to plug up the light and heat mat on the last tray at the bottom, so that's dark. So I'm not using that tray down there because I don't have any lights to be able to turn it on. What I might do is see if I can turn these trays up at the top here sideways to be able to get two trays on one shelf. And that way I can double what I'm doing. I may try that after I hang up with you all just to see what I can get going here. I want to maximize. And that way I can have two trays on the top, two trays on the bottom, and two trays on the third shelf. And then on the fourth shelf, it won't really matter. I will just take those seedlings outside in the outdoor big black greenhouse because the weather is conducive for them to grow okay out there for right now anyway. So this is burdock root. I have tried many times to grow burdock root. It has been unsuccessful for me. So I soaked these in water last night. They've been sitting in the refrigerator for quite some time. And so all of these seeds except for one are floating. It looks like one is floating. So I'm hoping that that was the trick, is to put them in the refrigerator, soak them and get them in some water. So I'm going to put these, I probably said that wrong. Put them in the refrigerator, soak them, and get them in some soil. Y'all know what I mean. And so that's burdock root. And I need to put some soil. I put my soil away. I thought I was done. I was not. I'm going to put some soil on top. Those are some nice sized seeds. They will need to be covered in a little bit of soil. So I am going to put some soil on there. I did this very same thing with artichoke. I've had the most trouble growing artichoke. And I put my artichoke seeds in the refrigerator. I put them on a paper towel in the Ziploc bag, and they began to actually germinate. At least that's what it looked like to me. And so I will have to look and see if they have broke through the soil, but I will do that and I'll show you all before I finish off this video. These are the last two seeds that I've got going here tonight. The next one and the final one for this evening is my Moroccan cilantro. And so all of these appear to be on the bottom of the cup. Now with cilantro, people say you should break the seed. I didn't want to do that. I went ahead and soaked the seed 24 hours and they have plumped up a great deal. I may actually have one seed floating, but they've really plumped up. So I'm hoping that soaking them will give them a chance to be able to break through that coating. Now, what I've learned or what I heard, I don't know, we'll see. I haven't learned it yet because I don't see the results of it. But I was told that the cilantro seed uh, has more than one seed in it. It will sprout more than one plant. So I don't know that to be true. I've never seen it, so we'll see. Because this looks like the size of fertilizer that you find in the store pots, as well as my Osmocote, I'm going to cover that with some soil. We want to cover those seeds up. They're a nice size little round seed. And I need to break that little piece of soil up right there, that coconut core. Make sure that you cover it up, that they're not just hanging out. I'm going to just water this a little bit, this soil, so that I push those seeds up under the soil, that there's no air pockets. And then last but not least, a little bit of vermiculite to keep them moist. Now I have a few seedlings that have germinated inside the house. I'm not going to share that with you all. You have seen that already. I will go in the house and get them in these two pots. And then this is going to go in the greenhouse. But I've got to shift some things around and see if I can get two trays on one shelf and see how it goes from there. And if so, I'll be able to make room for a few other things that I need to get into this greenhouse because I'm trying to maximize my growing space. So with that being said, thank you for joining me in the garage greenhouse grow space. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you who take the time to watch my videos and leave me a comment, as well as subscribe to the channel and share my channel with others. That does help my channel to grow. And as you can see, I am doing my very best to grow. My channel is not a teach you how to grow. I am showing you how I am growing. And if you are learning something from me showing you the things that I do, then I am doing exactly what it is you need. So thank you very much for joining me. I greatly appreciate it again. and I hope to see you either in my garage greenhouse grow space, my outdoor gardens, because I have more than one, or in my kitchen, canning, dehydrating, and all the other things I get up to. So until then, bye for now. And if you have not started your garden for the spring, what are you waiting for? Go ahead on. They've got cups at the dollar store. Get you some cups and start your garden. You don't have to have a whole setup. You can do this indoors. You can do this on the windowsill. You can do this in, like I mentioned, a takeaway container and create your own mini greenhouse. You don't need to have anything fancy to start yourself a garden. So start yourself a garden today because growing your own food, there's nothing like it. Bye for now.